On March 16th, 2012, I was at the Save Asado shelter in San Juan evaluating dogs that were ready to travel to the United States to find their forever homes. And there was a bucket of puppies that was left at the Save Asado shelter at the gate in the front of the house, front of the shelter. The bucket of puppies was brought in, and I looked at them. Never did I realize that it was Isa that was among the 9 puppies that were in that bucket. Early 2013, she was ready to travel to the States, and she went to one of the animal shelters in Massachusetts. She did not acclimate well to that particular shelter, so she went into foster care. From a foster care home, a wonderful foster care home, however, she did escape, and that was the first time she was on the run. She was recovered by one of the shelter staff people. She went back to the shelter, still did not do well. Went back into another foster care home in Stoneham. She escaped again from that foster care family.
She was posted on a social media site. A homeowner in the neighborhood saw a post about Isa and called the number and said, "I keep seeing this dog around." And that's when the group of volunteers got involved by setting up a trap and a camera, and they would bring food every day to the camera and trap site.
The night of the World Series, one of the World Series games, very late, I got a call from a woman who had lived up in the area where Isa was originally lost and had been seeing the flyers, and she called and said, "I think I saw the dog near Wakefield High School. There's a house that they're doing a lot of construction on. It's kind of gutted. There's a big dumpster there. I'm pretty sure it's her." So Bella and I went out the next day. A lot of the streets near there were little cul-de-sac areas. There wasn't a lot of places to go other than into Breakheart behind all of the houses. So we went and put flyers up, and from there the calls all started to come in. Essentially one after the other. A guy had seen her. Woman had seen her. They had seen her across the main busy street, various areas. So from there we spoke with a lot of the neighbors and were able to kind of narrow down exactly where she was. And a nice, generous lady let us set up a trap in her yard. Her yard, the back end of it, abuts Breakheart, really almost essentially just like an open wooded area. And she was nice enough to let us put the trap up there. But once again, she was not going to go in the trap, and we were out there day and night. We'd put the food. 3 minutes later, we'd see her on the satellite camera eating it, almost laughing at us, and then running back into the woods, almost like she was watching from up the hill.
It was very, very difficult to catch her because she was so smart. We had different types of traps. We also had a satellite camera, and so we could see what she was doing throughout the day, and you'd see her approach the trap, and she wouldn't go in, and you'd just be sitting there saying, "Oh, please, please, please go in." She'd stick her little head in or stick a little paw in. She was so smart. We all took shifts through the night, and would just sit there and watch, but she would never, ever go in.
So we spent several days getting it all set up, and then we spent several more days, nights actually, sitting in the cold, waiting for Isa to come under the net. And she always knew when we were there, and she would not come out. And she would come out about 10 minutes after we would pack up and leave. One afternoon, it was the 22nd of November, Mark from the Animal Rescue League was available to come and sit at the net for a couple of hours. And I met him over there to be a backup in case he did catch her. And as he was sitting in his van, Isa came out and she saw him and she took off. So he had already been sitting there for a while, and he said, "Well, I don't think it's going to happen again today. She smells me. She knows I'm here. I'm going to pack up. So I left, and he was packing up his truck, and a neighbor across the street said, there she is, she's underneath the net. So he turned around and saw that she was indeed right in the center of the net, and he hit the button. So all of the volunteers who had worked so hard to try to capture Isa, we all met over at the vet in Woburn, and a vet did an initial screening, and of course she was covered with 80 to 100 tick bites and live ticks. She had some bumps and scrapes, but other than that, she was in great health. She was heartworm negative. She was healthy. She had actually gained weight in the time that she had been missing, which by that time had been almost 6 months. From there, she went to a wonderful foster home for about 5 weeks. And we had talked to Betty, her foster mother, ahead of time to sort of set up a place for Isa to go once she had been captured.
I am a volunteer for many different shelters. I love to rescue dogs. The needier they are, the better I like them. So I told the ladies that I would foster Isa if they caught her. Now, when she was at the shelter and she got away, I had told them then I would foster her, but they weren't too sure about that. So I said, I'll get her. I got a call from M saying, we got her. I went out to the Woburn Hospital, the animal hospital, and there she was. So she was in the crate at first, and I took her out in the yard to walk with 2 leashes on her. I also have a 6-foot fence, but I was still nervous about that. So we went out many times a day and walked my yard. So she was doing really good in my house, and then Simone was going to adopt her, which we were all excited about.
From the moment I first saw her in the woods over in Wakefield, I thought, oh, she's so cute. I would love to have her. But my dog is not reliably friendly with other dogs. But I took him over to meet Isa at her foster home just to see how that would go. And he was curious and friendly. So I started to think more about the possibility of bringing Isa to my house. And so at the end of December, she came to live with me here. It was a long, slow process at first. She really slept, probably like 23 hours a day. And part of that, I think, was nerves and fear, but also probably part of that was when she was out on her own for 6 months, I doubt she ever slept. And after a couple weeks, she started to destroy toys. So I knew that part of her personality was slowly starting to come out. And as the months went by, she really has warmed up so much. She's just a big goofball now. She loves affection. She'll push Rocky out of the way to get to me. She loves being out in the backyard now, just will prowl around, prance around, run around.
I am so thankful to all these wonderful people who stuck with Isa for many, many months through a lot of ups and downs and really worked tirelessly to bring her to a good home. They've all played such important roles in her life now and are so happy to see her happy.